I'm Katie MERL. I'm the Director of Admissions at Vermont Law School, and I'm very pleased to have you here. And I'd like to welcome Kevin Jones. He's the Director of our Institute for Energy and the Environment. And I'm gonna have Kevin say a little bit about himself, but I do want to say that our institute, and I love this, we are the go-to people's go-to. So those people, they come to us. And I'm always proud of that fact because I feel I can say this, I can brag. We are the energy law school in the country by far. So this is a terrific career, and I'm going to pass it on to Kevin. And Kevin, thank you very much. I do apologize for the technical issues, and thank you for sticking with us today. I'll record and pass on to anyone who wasn't able to be here. All right, Kevin, if you want to take it away.
Great. Thanks, Katie. So as Katie said, I'm Kevin Jones, and I direct our Institute for Energy and the Environment. I've been at VLS for about just a little over 10 years now, and came to VLS from industry, where I had worked as a director of energy policy for the city of New York and for a large energy consulting firm and in other areas. We're going to talk today a lot about our energy program and some of the opportunities that it creates. But first, let's introduce the rest of our team here today. So we'll start off with Jeannie.
Hi everyone, I'm Jeannie and I am a staff attorney and professor in the Energy Clinic, which is part of the Institute for Energy and the Environment. And I am looking forward to working with some of you in the future. Oh, and I came from New Zealand originally, as my accent probably tells you, not Australia. And I have a background in corporate law. I worked in private practice in New Zealand, and then I worked for the Department of Public Service here in Vermont doing renewable energy siting cases before I came to the clinic.
And Molly.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Molly Smith. I'm the program coordinator for the Institute for Energy and the Environment. So I do all the sort of behind the scenes work with the clinic and our RA program, which you'll hear about shortly. My background is in plant biology and community resilience and sustainability. So I've got a lot of very varied interests, and I'm super excited to get to hopefully know most of you when you apply.
And in a minute, we'll put up a slide of the rest of our team and show you some of the people that aren't here with us today. But I'd like to have our two students. We have two students that are in their third year in our joint degree program with us today. So Maggie.
Hello, my name is Maggie. I am a 3L JD MERL student here at VLS. I'm originally from the Philadelphia area, and my background is in wildlife conservation, so not energy, but I've found myself here, and I'm very happy about it.
And Ellie.
Hey everyone, my name's Ellie Hardwick, and I'm also a 3L JD MERL. I'm originally from North Carolina, and my background is in environmental science and political science, and then minors in economics and renewable energy assessment. And so I came to Vermont Law School knowing I wanted to do energy, a little bit different from Maggie.
And I'll see if I can get our presentation up here, share it with you all. Hopefully you can all see that now. And what we're going to do here today, we're going to give you a little bit of an overview of our energy degrees and curriculum, including our energy summer session that we do. Then I'm going to turn it over to Molly, and she's going to talk about our research associate program and some of our projects that we have going on there. It's one of our experiential programs. And then Jeannie will take over and talk about our energy clinic and the experiential opportunities available there and some of the projects we're working on. And then also a little bit about our energy moot court, which Ellie could probably tell us some about her experience there too. And then after Jeannie, we're going to turn it over to Maggie and Ellie to talk a little bit about their experience in the program. They've pretty much been through multiple semesters of our experiential programs, our summer program, and had some great externship opportunities too. So we're excited to hear about that. And after that, we're going to walk through some of the international initiatives that we have, talk a little bit about some of the jobs that our graduates are getting, so you can have a kind of a preview of what to expect at the end of the program. And I want to talk about one of our unique features, which is our VLS alumni in energy in the symposium that we do. And then we'll end with plenty of time for questions. This is a photo of us crammed into Eaton House in a pre-COVID period of time. In addition to the team we have here today, Tade Oyewunmi, who is assistant professor and senior research fellow with us. Genevieve Byrne, who happens to be on maternity leave this semester, but is our staff attorney and assistant professor leading our unique farm and energy initiative, which Molly will tell you a little bit about. Jenny Carter, who's a staff attorney and assistant professor. And we're super excited in the coming months to have Marnie Avila, who's going to be our one of our LLM fellows. And Marnie's coming to us from Havana, Cuba. Once we can get beyond the COVID travel restrictions, she's going to be with us 2 years working as an LLM fellow in our Farm and Energy Initiative. Before we get into the substance of the program, we just want to talk a little bit about the focus of our program. We are largely focused on as an electricity law program, and there's a real concrete reason for that, because we think that electricity has a bright future and is going to be the clean energy source that's going to help us make it through this transition to a low carbon future. And as Amory Levins notes here, electricity is hugely important, really the vital root system that sustains our economy today. It's clean, efficient, precise, and flexible. And as ubiquitous and important as it is today, it is only going to grow in importance in the coming decades as we electrify transportation and buildings. And this is an incredibly exciting time to be in the energy law and policy space, given all of this. At VLS, we have the most extensive offerings of degrees and the greatest depth in clean energy law and policy classes you can find at any school. We offer our master's degree as a standalone degree. Obviously, you can get the JD and then the JD as a joint degree with a master's. We offer an LLM in energy law for those that already have their JD. And we also have a concentration in energy law. And while other schools, there are other large energy programs at other schools, most of those are focused on oil and gas. And at VLS, we teach energy in the context of justice in the environment and what we want the world to be 50 years from now. When you do our joint degree program, the first year you'll spend focusing on your JD studies, your first year JD studies, and we'll have an advising session for you in the spring at the end of your first year. And then after the first year, you can begin work on your MERL degree, beginning with a summer. The MERL requires you to do a minimum of 30 credits, 9 of them that can be shared with the JD program. So there's synergy in doing the JD and the MERL together, and cost savings in doing that. And the core of the MERL is a number of required courses, our summer energy electives, which I'll talk about in a minute, and our unique experiential opportunities, our energy clinic and master's externships, and our IE research associate program, which Molly and Jeannie will tell you about. In addition to the joint degree, we also have the ability for students to do a 14 credit concentration. Generally, this does not include the summer energy classes. Our summer energy session is really the first opportunity for our joint degree students to focus on energy law, and we have a deep offering of clean energy law and policy classes. We start off giving our students a quick introduction to some of the other fields of energy that are important to having a long career and a successful career in energy law and policy. We begin with a 1 week dive into the legal or the engineering essentials of the grid, which are very important. And I'll let maybe Maggie and Ellie later to share with you some of their thoughts. It's used to be something we had to drag our students into kicking and screaming, and I think because of the people we have teaching it now, and how we can relate it to energy law, that it has become you know, a really enjoyable part of our summer session. We also have opportunities to focus on international energy law and policy. This summer, we're going to have Anna Marhold return. She teaches European Union energy and climate policy. And in other years, we rotate and bring Arturo Brandt in to teach global energy law and policy from a Latin American policy perspective. We also have in the deep depth of our clean energy courses. I think we're the only law school that has a clean transportation law and policy course as a part of its curriculum. And we have other courses like renewable energy project finance and development, where you can take a deep dive into all of the legal requirements for putting together you know, renewable energy projects. And we also offer our clinic in the summer, which Jeannie will tell you about. I'm going to turn over to Molly for a minute to talk about our research associate program.
Great, thanks, Kevin. Hi again, everybody. So again, I'm Molly, the program coordinator at the IEE. So our RA program, or our research associate program, is an opportunity for students to get involved with a research project, working alongside some of our faculty. We accept students into the IEE every semester, and students get to work on a variety of projects, either for work study, as a volunteer, or for an IRP, which is an independent research project. Once you join the IEE, you are a member for the remainder of your time at VLS, and typically will take on either a new or the same research project for the subsequent semesters, although some students will take a semester off from their research project to participate in something like moot court, do the energy clinic, or do a semester in practice. Many of our students who participate in the RA program get to have their name on published articles, papers, even a book. So it's a really fantastic opportunity to get some experience doing research in the energy and policy field. We have a bunch of projects going on the RA. One of our really popular ones is involved with the Farm and Energy Initiative. This is a partnership with the Center for Agriculture and Food Systems, which is also here at VLS. And the focus of the Farm and Energy Initiative is to look at the connection between energy and agriculture. In the past, we've done research projects revolving around biogas or biodigester project development. We've also done projects on soil health and carbon sequestration, and solar siting on agricultural land. There's a ton of opportunity at this intersection of energy and agriculture. So to learn more about the projects that we do with the Farm and Energy Initiative, especially through the RA, you can check out our website at farmandenergyinitiative.org. Other projects that are just in the IEE include a current one on the legal and regulatory framework for permitting and developing utility scale solar systems, especially in offshore wind in New England area. Another one that we're just starting is focusing on designing, planning, and creating a workshop to help communities fight disinformation, specifically about clean transportation issues. Another project is looking at the potential for offshore wind to assist in New England's transition to fossil fuels, specifically around the Connecticut area. And finally, this semester, we have a project working on community engagement. We're working with the town of Hartford here in Vermont, helping their energy commission run a campaign to increase the awareness and adoption of electric vehicle technology in town. We get a lot of new RA projects every year, and some carry on for multiple years. So there's always something exciting to work on. As the slide says, in a previous slide said, it's about 10 to 15 hours a week that a student is expected to spend on their project. And that's largely composed of once to twice a week, a meeting with your supervisor or your team. And the rest of the time is your own research and writing time. Another benefit to being in the IEE is the access to our extended network of alumni all over the country and world. We have an extremely active alumni group, and they send out job postings, hold events. But I know Kevin is going to talk a lot more about our awesome alumni, so I'm going to leave that section up to him and turn it back over to him now.
Thanks. Let me turn over to Jeannie.
Hi everyone, I'm Jeannie again, and I'm going to talk to you about the Energy Clinic, which both Ellie and Maggie have been in, so they can probably fill in any gaps that I might leave. So the Energy Clinic, as Kevin said, is one of our experiential courses. It basically operates as a class that you can take for credit, and we run every semester, summer, fall, spring. And so your first opportunity to participate in the Energy Clinic is in the summer of your 1 hour year. Often our joint degree students will do the Energy Clinic for 3 credits in the summer at the same time as they're taking their summer energy classes. It's a part-time clinic, and it's designed to work in with your energy classes. So the Energy Clinic, what do? We basically operate like a law and policy firm. And so we provide both legal and non-legal services to clients who are trying to develop renewable energy projects or trying to develop new renewable energy policies. You can do it, as I said before, any semester. Summer is 3 or 6 credits, so that's part-time or full-time essentially. And then in the fall and the spring, you can do it for 4 or 6 credits. And in both those cases, it sort of breaks down, well, in the fall and the spring, it breaks down to either 12 hours per week or 18 hours per week, depending on the credit hours that you're taking. And then in the summer, I think it breaks down to somewhere around 15 hours per week for the 3 credits, or 28 to 30 hours a week for the 6 credits. Many of our projects are focused on community solar development, and we have a particular focus on climate justice through community solar development. So our project, one of our project teams is working on bringing renewable energy to low-income communities throughout New England. We work with organizations called resident-owned communities, which are a type of manufactured housing community where the community members not only have their home sited on within this community, but they jointly own the underlying land, which is a little bit different from normal manufactured housing communities. The work we do is very multidisciplinary. So as I said, it's community solar development. However, that means a lot of different things. So we do everything from community outreach and community organizing, submitting requests for proposals to solar developers to get the best price possible for these solar projects. We're drafting legal agreements. So that's why we say we're a transactional clinic. We don't tend to do litigation. We focus more on legal agreements and facilitating projects rather than opposing projects. We do the permitting for projects. We might be appearing before public utilities commissions in rulemaking proceedings, all sorts of different areas. And so it's quite multidisciplinary. Other projects include a net zero housing project where we are working with affordable housing nonprofits to bring net zero housing to low-income folks. And we also have a farm and energy initiative project in the clinic that is looking at renewable energy siting on farmland and trying to come up with the best policies and regulatory rules to advance renewable energy on farmland without causing harm to the prime agricultural soils. I think that's basically all the information you need about the clinic at this stage. It's very practical, hands-on work, and it varies from semester to semester. But I think it's a pretty cool opportunity to get involved with transactional, regulatory, and policy making work while you're at law school. Oh, and the moot court. So Ellie is probably going to be in a better position to speak about this than I am because she participated in it last year, but every year we send 1 to 2 teams to the Energy and Sustainability Moot Court competition, which usually is down in the University of West Virginia. However, this year it's going to be a virtual competition. This year's problem is all about how the constitutional law challenges to state authority over policies such as net metering and renewable portfolio standards. And it's the first year that we've had a renewable energy focused problem. In previous years, the problems have been focused on more focused on oil and gas development, so natural gas pipelines, Clean Water Act, Clean Air Act type problems, but usually with a lot of constitutional law mixed in there. So that's super fun. And that's, I should mention that the moot court is something that our Institute for Energy and the Environment students can participate in and are given preference for joining that team. That's all I have. I have a lot more, but that's all I have for now.
Maggie, Nelly?
Yeah, I can go first if you want. Hi again, everyone. I'm Maggie. As I said, I'm a 3L JD MERL student. So I'll be graduating this May. I consider myself to be a big advocate for VLS, but specifically the MERL degree at VLS, because it's added so much value to my education, both on a personal level and a professional level. As I said before, I don't come from an energy background. When I was a 1L, I knew that I was interested in doing a JD, like a joint degree with my law degree, but I wasn't sure which one I wanted at that point. And the MERL degree was a bit foreign to me. But after doing the research, I landed on doing the MERL, and I thought that, it would offer me the most opportunity after graduating. I think as most law students' goals when they are first starting out is to be, after law school is to be employable. And I think specifically for students coming to VLS and students that are interested in one of the joint degrees, your other goal is to be involved in work that helps the environment. Those are my 2 goals, and the MERL degree allowed me the opportunity to do both of those things. So that's why I'm such a big advocate for it. I fully believe that my MERL degree set me apart from other students and other applicants. Not many schools offer such a robust energy practice. And as Katie said, VLS is the energy school. So starting right off the bat, this summer after your 1L year, you learn the basics of energy, everything from what is energy, how do you use it, to business models, to different policies. Those are the 3 essentials of the grid classes. Kevin was saying students don't want to take those classes, but for someone like me who had no idea about energy, those were so important. And then going throughout the summer, you learn about energy in other areas of the world. I took the Anna Marhold class that focused on EU. You learn about financing energy projects. And then I also did the energy clinic my first summer, which really helped me apply what I was learning in class to real world situations. And even aside from energy, working in a clinic helps you develop your lawyer skills. So I really recommend doing that if you can, or in your first try. And so I think it's just goes to show how much you learn in that first summer session in this program. I went in not knowing anything, and then I came out of that summer after a few months, and I was fully conversational in a lot of energy matters. And then 2L year, you take 1 energy class each semester. So it fits into your schedule really nicely if you're doing the joint degree with your JD as well. And then I also was able to take the global sustainability class that travels to Cuba in the fall, which was an amazing experience learning about Cuba's energy sector and their transition to renewable energy. I think Kevin might talk about that class a bit later, but I'm there in that picture, which always makes me laugh seeing that. But so all of everything that I learned, in that first summer up until my fall of my 2L year gave me, enough experience and knowledge to be successful in finding a 2L summer externship, which is part of the MERL program, but also as a JD student, your internships in the summer help you for trying to figure out what you want to do after you graduate, and kind of line up your career path. So this past summer, I worked as a summer associate at Morgan Lewis and Bacchus, which is a global law firm, and I was able to work in their energy practice group. And I was able to work on a lot of different types of energy matters, which included administrative litigation, renewable energy transactions. I did a lot of research on offshore wind, battery storage, electric vehicles, primarily worked on state regulatory and renewable practices, but I also was able to be included on projects with their FERC, which is the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, nuclear and gas practice groups. Something that I found to be really interesting and I think speaks to how great the MERL program at BLS is that when I interviewed for that summer position, I met with 6 different practicing energy attorneys, and each one of them focused solely on my MERL degree. They didn't even ask me any general JD law questions. They just asked me about all the classes I had taken, what kind of work I had done in the clinic. They were really impressed that I had already, worked on developing a community solar project. I think the fact that I was able to discuss a wide array of energy related topics impressed them. And I think that's ultimately why I was hired to work for them over the summer. And then, the work I did for the firm over the summer showed that my knowledge wasn't just superficial. Everything I did over the summer for the firm, I already had a good background knowledge on, and I felt comfortable in my work that I was producing for them. And ultimately, I was offered a full-time job for after I graduate. So I think that shows how great this program is and why I'm such a big advocate for it, because as I said, I came in knowing nothing 2 years ago, and now I've been hired as an energy practice group associate. So there is, as you just saw, there's a lot of different things you can get yourself involved in with the institute, and there's so much knowledge to take in, and there's so much opportunity that will come from doing that. So that is my spiel on it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Maggie. Ellie, why don't you tell us a little bit about your experience?
Yeah, so I had a little bit of different experience than Maggie. I came to VLS knowing I wanted to do energy. I really found my passion in undergrad, and I knew that's what I wanted to do and focus on energy. And so when I was researching schools and where I wanted to go, no other school compared to VLS and the energy program here. There was no other school had as many courses or, the clinic or the research opportunities and the experiential opportunities. So that really sold me on VLS and the Institute. It was only school I applied to because there was no other school that offered as much as VLS did with the energy. And I won't, Maggie did a really good job of explaining, like what you do your first year in the summer classes. So I won't really go into much detail about that, but I agree with everything Maggie said. The summer classes are amazing. You really delve deep into the energy and get a really good, well-rounded introduction to energy law and policies. And then, the second year, what she said, you take one class each semester. And then the second year is when I actually did the energy moot court, and I cannot recommend that enough either. It was a really good experience to, be able to apply what we're learning into a real life case and oral argument, because it was based my problem was based off a real life case issues. It was based off the Atlantic Coast Pipeline, and so it was really interesting to get to brief and write a brief about that, and then do oral arguments in front of real life judges and attorneys practicing in the energy field. And so I cannot recommend that experience enough. It was amazing, and it really helped me with my oral argument skills and my writing skills. And so the summer after my 2L year, I externed at an organization called Small Business Utility Advocates. And then I got to work on a rate case. That was my main task for that summer, was a rate case. And so it was really great experience to be able to apply what we were learning in the classes, the energy courses to that rate case. And then this semester, I am doing my JD externship at an organization in North Carolina called North Carolina Sustainable Energy Association. And they're like a nonprofit that advocates for sustainable renewable energy in North Carolina. And they do a lot of work with the legislator, advocating for different bills and laws, but also they do work at the Utility Commission. And so this is another experience to give me really diverse experience about all the different, avenues and ways you can advocate for renewable and sustainable energy. And so I'm really enjoying that. Just started, but so far I've already attended a oral argument hearing. I've already helped draft several and edit several documents, such as like a amicus brief. I've done we've done helped do intervener testimony, expert witness testimony, and a proposed order. So already getting into into the process and really diving deep. So, and it's really helpful to, and really great that I'm able to apply what I've learned through the MERL courses in this externship.
Thank you, Maggie. So I just want to spend a minute talking about some of the international work that we do, because we put a lot of effort in building bridges globally. As Maggie mentioned, one of the courses that we offer is called Global Sustainability Field Studies. And that picture up in the upper left corner are the 28 students and 3 faculty and staff that traveled together for a week to Havana, Cuba, studying both energy and agriculture sustainability. We've made a lot of friends and strong relationships there. This summer, hopefully, COVID willing, as well as improved U.S. immigration policies, we hope to bring Professor Natasha Tejada from the University of Havana School of Law to spend 2 weeks in the summer with us. Professor Tejada's expertise is in business law and helping international corporations set up business in Cuba. She's worked with a number of solar companies, international solar companies that have incorporated and are building projects in Cuba. And we're super excited to have Natasha with us this summer. We also hope to bring one of our students, as I mentioned before, Marnie Avila, who works for the Cuban Electric company, Cuba Electrica, and she'll work with us for 2 years as a fellow. We also have visiting scholars visit us quite frequently when we're not in this COVID period. And we've had some wonderful visitors, such as Elizabeth McDonald from the University of Newcastle in Australia. I think we would have adopted her as one of our lifelong members of our team if we could, and we look forward to her coming back again. Through our US-Asia Partnership for National Law, we have strong ties with China and Southeast Asia, and we have had multiple visiting scholars from China. And we've had various other scholars from the EU and Chile and other parts of the world. We could talk for quite a bit of time about the kind of jobs that our JDs are getting. Our students come from all over the US and all over the world, and they go back all over the world. As Ellie said, we have a lot of students from North Carolina and South Carolina and in the Southeast. We also have students that come from the West and go back there. We have alum that are working for the Hawaii Public Utility, multiple alums who are working for the Hawaii Public Utility Commissions, and those that do externships with Hawaii Electric Company. We have one of our upcoming speakers for our clinic is a young woman who's actually the chair of the Nevada Public Utilities Commission. Some of our other graduates that have gone off to do exciting things. Katie Thomas is the policy advisor for energy and the environment from U.S. Senator Bernie Sanders. You all probably have heard of him before. And we have our alum working on solar development projects all across the U.S. and cool companies like One Energy out in Columbus, Ohio, that are doing behind the meter wind for industrial companies. And our master's students, our standalone master's program, students have gone all over the country working from offshore wind companies to EV charging companies and everything in between. And one of the things I like to say to our students, when they say, well, what kind of job opportunities can we get after VLS in the clean energy space? And in these days, my honest answer is, well, how vivid is your imagination? Because there's so many clean energy opportunities out there. Certainly things that when I got out of graduate school, we were only hoping and dreaming someday we could do, and our graduates are going right into those jobs. And as I think Jeannie had mentioned about the alumni opportunities, or I think it was Molly, one of the unique things about VLS's energy program is our VLS Alumni in Energy. I think we are the only law school in the US that has an alumni grouping focused on energy law. It's our only group. Usually alumni get focused on their class year, but we have brought our alumni together that are working in the energy field. We have a couple, over 200 alumni that have self-identified in the energy industry. And we have, I think this fall was our 7th national symposium that we have done, organized solely and produced by our alumni in energy. We do that every year in DC. This year we were virtual and focused on COVID-19 and the clean energy transition. And so that's kind of the overview of everything from what to expect in your first year in arriving to the opportunities that you get after graduation, and a lot of fun things that you might not have expected, including like Maggie get to meet Fernando out in the rural outskirts of Havana, and learn about sustainable agriculture and the sustainable energy that leading Cuban sustainable farmers are doing. This is a photo of Eaton House in non-COVID periods. This is the home where we're housed, and we would be more than pleased to take any questions that are out there.
Professor Jones, do you prefer Q&A, or if people are asked their questions in the chat, how would you prefer it?
I think if I don't know if people can unmute themselves, or we need to do that.
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
Let's just let anyone jump in that has a question.
All right. I'm slowly going through. All right. Grayson, my nephew's named Grayson, not to put you on the spot, but do you have a question? Oh, hi, Maya. As I'm going.
Hi. No, not at the moment, but thank you.
You're welcome. Let's see here. Okay, I don't know. Is everybody shy?
Okay, actually, I just thought of one, if that's all
Okay,
right. I'm just curious what sort of innovation you all see coming down the line in regards to renewable energy transactions, or just, you know, the industry as a whole.
Who wants to take that one?
You do, Kevin.
Well, I think, one of the things we've tried to do is to think more broadly, about clean energy. So one of the things we've done in the last few years is to broaden from our traditional energy resources to include clean transportation as part of what we're doing. With electrification transportation, we're seeing incredible opportunities for both our master's and our JD graduates in that space. We do a ton of research and writing on things like microgrids and mixing distributed energy resources with climate adaptation. And we have, it's just some of the jobs that our students have gotten. In this area, one of our master students his title is Virtual Power Plant Manager. And I forget now. I'm forgetting. I think it's the electricity, the U.S. version of Electricité de France, their unit. So we have a lot of international energy companies, Enel, Avangrid, and EDF that are creating interesting opportunities here in the U.S. Back when, not long ago, it was looking like things, Cape Wind, that we weren't going to be able to permit and build offshore wind in the northeastern U.S. And now we have multiple alum that are, actively engaged, working for Ørsted or Avangrid and other companies. And students that are working on smart technologies and different things. So hopefully that helped.
Cool, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Grayson. All right, I see that Daisy, you're unmuted. Do you have a question?
Yeah, actually, myself, I graduated from electrical engineering, and I did my MBA, and I work for hydro, power industry. Then I work for National Research Council on Canada Building Code and so on. But I'm thinking of taking law, taking law school. Originally, I was thinking about a human rights issue, but I'm very interested in energy. I've been keeping track of energy, policy, climate change, that sort of things. So I was actually searching that, is it whether I should take a law school. I did have some, because in my MBA I took some business law, but in a way I'm more the technology person, and so climate change, energy is very I'm very interested in. And
maybe how, Kevin, how a MERL can help support interest in environmental justice.
Yeah. That's what I was wondering, whether I should actually get into law school, but I'm very interested because some of the human rights issue, I really want to get in, get a hold of, more knowledge in that area, so I could help. Because right now, basically, I'm more free. More free means okay, I have the sort of the more freedom to do really what I want to do in my final stage of my career. And I like picking a law school. Actually, I also want to do a lot of volunteer work by using the knowledge I gained from law school.
Yeah, well, first I'd say that energy is very interdisciplinary. So, I mean, it's a field that you could definitely take your skills and apply it there. And energy law offers lots of opportunities there. And certainly from that, a lot of our work, in our clinic, as Jeannie mentioned, is focused on climate justice. And one of the important things for us is to make sure that we, broadly distribute the benefits of clean energy, more equitably than they are. And so I don't know, Jeannie, if you have anything more you'd want to add on that from your work.
Yeah, no, Daisy, just hearing you speak about your experience, each time you mentioned a different experience or background that you have, I was like, oh yeah, that's useful for energy law. Yep, that's useful too. Oh yeah, I could use you for that. So I think that your background is really well suited to pivoting towards learning about and applying energy law and policy. The human rights side of things, so sort of aside from the climate justice work we do, I know that it's become sort of a hot topic about renewable energy and the sort of upstream production issues, so like the silicon mining and the factories where solar arrays produce, that sort of thing. I haven't myself done any research on that, but I know that that is sort of a hot area of research right now. So I think definitely there's a lot of opportunity for you to dive into energy, whether that's as part of a master's degree standalone or as part of a law and master's approach, or a law with an energy concentration. I think something for you to decide there, but definitely I think your skills are well suited to a transition to energy.
Okay. And one other question is, in average, how old, like, I mean, the age of the student? Like, I mean, I'm much older.
No worries. When you enter law school or a law program, whether it be master's or the JD, you enter as Daisy and what you bring to the table. It's amazing. I see students that come right out of college, and then I see students who a second career and want to make a difference, and they're in their 50s, 60s, early 70s. And it's really what you bring to the table. I think everybody here can add to that. You're all in this boat together, so you're all trying to solve problems associated with energy. So people have first careers. So you won't feel out of place at all.
Okay, like, I mean, I just like wonder whether
No, you'll be fine. I can assure you. I have a hand up. Kelsey Blake, if you want to unmute.
Hi. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. So my question is, as somebody who's interested in the JD and MERL, like the dual degree, how are students supported as far as passing the bar, like state bar? Does it matter? Because, it seems from what I've been hearing that students who get this dual degree have opportunities both, across the country and internationally. How are they supported in deciding whether they should take the bar for the particular state that they live in, or maybe, the bar for the state of the job they're looking for? How does that work?
Yeah, Jeannie, maybe you can even just talk about our conversation with Zach this afternoon, the UBE, and some of the flexibility that's available now.
Yeah, so when I set the bar in Vermont, it was before we had something called the Universal Bar Exam, and it meant that I only got admitted to the state of Vermont, and then I had the opportunity to waive into other New England states with like a special New England waiver program. But now many states, and I forget how many, but a lot of states have what we call the UBE. And when you sit the universal bar exam, it gives you the opportunity to be admitted in any one of those states that is administering the UBE. So throughout your law degree, you're probably going to change your mind several times about where you want to end up after you finish your degree, and that's totally okay. We have a number of staff at VLS who help you think through these sort of strategic questions about where to sit the bar, whether to do a UBE or a non-UBE state, where should you look for your jobs, that sort of thing. But it's something that you will get support on as you go through your 3-year degree at VLS. And we do have staff both in the Career Services Office and also in the Academic Success Program and within the administration that are here to help you with those decisions.
There's a student I was meeting with today, and his interests were, I think it was Vermont, Hawaii, and I want to say, I can't remember if it was New York as the third, and they were all 3 UBE states. So he was, going to be set, probably take it in Vermont, and then have the opportunity to do the UBE to practice in any of those states.
And speaking of the bar exam, VLS offers a couple of classes on how to pass the bar exam. Techniques and strategies for doing it. There is also a ton of support through our academic success program to help you and support you in any way possible for passing the bar. So lots of great support through those offices.
Thank you, Molly. Alan.
Yes, is the MERL program strictly renewable energy, or do you guys concentrate on all energies with coal and gas-fired generation as well?
Great question. So we offer, I think we're one of the few law schools that also offers every year oil and gas in the environment class too. So we have classwork in non-renewable fuels, more traditional fuels. And our first course that you take in the sequence, Energy Policy in a Carbon Constrained World, begins looking at all resources. Now, within that framework, we do then, kind of a direction and focus to, a focus on electricity law and particularly the clean energy transition, because that's where a lot of the jobs of the future are showing up. And one of the things I collaborate, we have a new organization across the country of Energy Institute directors all over the country. And the biggest trend, even in the schools that are traditionally oil and gas, what a lot of people are saying is that they're having students, difficulty attracting students to some of the traditional fuels because of the opportunities. But we are one of the few programs that in addition, a lot of schools will have a general energy law class, and we do that. But we also have a specialized oil and gas class for people that are interested in that, which is more than you can traditionally get elsewhere.
I hear it's a great class too, because everyone's like, "Oh, I'm going to take oil and gas," and then they love it.
This is Alan. One more thing from Alan, if
Yeah.
you guys don't mind, is that frowned upon, taking that class, or are you guys offering that class? I know everything's going to the green transition, and it's kind of hard to say how much gas fired is going to be taken out of service anytime soon. So I would think it'd still be a hot topic to learn.
Yeah, I mean, and people look at it from different perspectives. I mean, some people are taking the class because we have a lot of students that work for NGOs too, and so there are organizations that are looking at oil and gas permitting because they want to understand the permitting process for those in siting perspective. But we don't, we have, I think we have a very collaborative group of faculty and students, and so I don't think there's anyone that's frowned upon in terms of the kind of career that they want in the future. We have one of our current professors whose background is more traditionally oil and gas development, and He also spends some time talking about the transition from those facilities and looking at opportunities of maybe taking the natural gas pipeline network and using it for distributing future fuels like hydrogen.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Just to add to that, the moot court problems have typically focused on traditional energy infrastructure, so gas pipelines, natural gas pipelines, and the law surrounding that. So if you participate in moot court, you're almost, except for this year, which was a renewable energy problem, you're almost guaranteed to get some kind of traditional energy problem thrown in the mix.
And I should tell you that you have a big oil and gas law student coming your way. He worked in oil and gas for decades, and now he's in law school. He's doing the JD MERL. He just started, so it's going to be a while till he reaches you, Kevin, but he's coming, and it's going to be exciting to have him on campus. A real serious oil and gas.
Katie, I have an LLM student in the clinic this semester who also is coming with oil and gas experience, and it's really interesting having his experience sort of thrown in the mix with our renewable energy development projects. There's a lot of overlap in the skills, and whether it's the contracting skills, transactional law skills, and the permitting skills. So it's pretty cool to see that sort of come together.
Yeah,
and that's an important point that we have all of our all of our MERL classes except the summer classes are all offered online too. Now these days we've all been virtual, but we have an incredible an extensive offering of online classes. So sometimes it's worked out nicely when students are off campus and working on an externship or something. If they have extra time and want to take a class while they're doing that, they can do it through the online program, and we really have an incredible hybrid offering where we have students that are doing the online program pretty much full time, but then they come to the summer and take some of our summer residential classes, and we are always pleased, whether it's in the clinic or in the classroom, to welcome our online students on campus too.
all right, Kimberly Wagner.
Okay. So I'm currently working in the oil and gas and how it I'm in Colorado. I plan to practice in Colorado. We are porcupined with fracking everywhere. And so we've been fighting against pollution to the air and also just trying to stop extraction. But we are also transitioning using the greenhouse goal, our greenhouse gas reduction roadmap. And some of the areas that I'm interested in are the transportation sector and the conversion to electric vehicles. What are we going to do with all of these workers, and how can we help them to enable them to have a just transition? And I don't know if your program deals at all with retraining or enabling people to take part in this big transition that we'll be going through. And yeah, I just this would be a big shift for me in terms of the direction that I'm heading, but there's a lot of opportunity coming up, and especially also, just getting the solar and the wind power in here to replace. Oh, the last thing was building construction, residential as well as commercial buildings, making sure that they have electric appliances and electrical systems that they're running from. So I wondered if those were all things that you guys touched on.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things we talked about, we offer courses in energy efficiency, focusing on some of the building issues. In addition, as I mentioned, we have a growing clean transportation offering. I would say in addition to our joint degree and our JD, our one of the exciting things about our MERL degree is it's something that people can do in 12 months. So it's it doesn't tackle all of the retraining opportunities, and that's certainly a challenge, and hopefully a challenge that our new leadership in Washington is going to be focused on. But the MERL is a wonderful degree for people that haven't worked in the energy field to invest a relatively short period of time 12 months and learn the fundamental skills that they need. And I am so pleased and excited. You know, there's one of the things that I like to say to our students is that I don't think our process of training and educating you ends until you have that first job offer that you want, and then we try to keep them hooked up, you know, for the rest of their professional career through our alumni and energy system. But it is such a pleasure to see our students that have come in without much knowledge and energy, and some come in and even say, well, in my undergraduate degree, I've had a lot of energy, but I didn't realize how little I knew about energy until I came to VLS, because it's such a broad field and there's so much to learn.
Yeah.
Hopefully
Well,
that's
I would do
address
the
your question.
JD masters, and I think what was nicest to hear was that rather than taking away from the JD experience, it sounds like it's a really additive, that you get so much more out of your JD with this experience added on. So I was worried about missing out on things because I'd be too busy trying to get a master's done, but this sounds like it's the complete opposite.
And I don't know if either Maggie or Ellie want to say anything more, if they're still with us, about that.
Yeah, I'm still here. I was nervous about the same thing, that adding a master's with my JD, I wouldn't get enough of the law. And that wasn't true. If anything, it made my law degree stand out so much more from every other student that has a law degree that's applying to jobs. Like I said, I think, you know, the reason I got the job I got was because I have the MERL degree. And what's really nice is that, you know, I was worried after your 1L year, you typically, as a law student, you do an internship, and that's, you know, build up to be, that's, you know, that's your ticket to your jobs. And I was nervous about missing out on that my first year, but and that's really why I decided to do the clinic that first summer, just so I could have something on my resume. You know, I did work this summer as well as take classes, and that worked out really well for me. But it really wasn't the case that like you miss out on law stuff your first summer. It just adds depth to your overall education in both of the degrees, from my perspective. So I understand the concern, but I think it made my law degree like so much more valuable. So I recommend it.
And we've had some wonderful experiences. One example of one of our joint degree students who did an externship, did their master's externship after they finished their JD in the fall, and went out to a state out west. And it was a state where the AG's office provides the legal services for the utility commission. And that extern ended up going from an externship in the JD's office to an administrative law judge position, leaping over what would have been usually the entry-level position in the commission, because of the knowledge and extra experience that they'd gotten from the MERL program, and they had a JD MERL that had worked with them in the past too, and had that experience. So I think we have real experiences of it really opening doors for people and getting you into opportunities that I've had some crazy things where I would never have suggested to students, where they've brought syllabuses from some of our classes to the job interviews, and that wouldn't be, it's something I do, but they end up getting in conversations with some of the hiring attorneys who, most of them, most people in my generation learn about energy law and policy on the job training, because they weren't these specialized programs. And so it can sometimes be an interesting conversational piece in that hiring process about the depth of the energy learning.
That's awesome.
Well, wonderful. Well, I just want to thank everybody for joining us, and thank you, attendees. I'm sorry I had the wrong link in there. So I'm so glad that you came. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to have future webinars, and again, the one in February if you want to redo for energy. But thank you very much. And I did want to make a mention to Rachel. Sometimes you come to Vermont Law. Rachel Gordon asked about our like justice, and it's a big part of who we are. And we have a restorative justice program, and then we work closely in environmental justice. And I think your housing comes into that. So we're very, very active in making sure people have voices, and you'll learn the tools, not only through the law, but legislatively as well, on how to best protect people. I don't know if anyone wants to add anything.
Thank you so much for that.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.
And I would just say, if you have any follow-up questions, feel welcome to reach out to us. You know, you can, I think you can find most of our email addresses on our website. We would love to talk to you in the future and answer any questions. And particularly in this COVID period, we're looking for any human interaction and opportunities with the outside world. So feel welcome to reach out.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you. This is informative.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Lost Rachel. I'll have to email her. I'm not very fast. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you all very much. I can't wait to do this again. And I really appreciate it. Great conversation. And I'm excited. Such a good program. Thanks
so much for putting this together, Katie. This was great.
I know. I love it. I can't wait to do it again. And then maybe, I don't know, Maggie or Ellie, if I can throw you on Instagram Live. Okay. Okay, good. I love that. Or if you guys have any kind of projects that are coming up and you want me to promote or have a student talk or anything like that, we can do a little IG Live. It's usually about 20 minutes and I feed questions to you. It's really fun. Your family can like and send hearts and all of that. So, All right, enjoy your evening, and then I'll be in touch.
Great. Thanks everyone,
Kate.
and especially
Thanks,
Ellie and
Ellie,
Maggie.
Maggie.
Thank you for making time for us.
Rock stars.